In this video, I'll be sharing 5 simple techniques that'll greatly enhance the difficulty of your push-ups. Whether you're doing this for volume or intensity work, you can't go wrong. So the first thing that I would strongly recommend is a pseudo planche push-up or planche lean. This is where you bring your body all the way forward such that the leverages are way more challenging, man. Like, I don't care how strong you are. You do this, good luck getting more than 20 reps. For the vast majority of you watching this video right now, this will be an intense variation. Perfect for strength development, and the better you get at it, it's still very feasible for volume training without going excessive on the repetitions. This is not something that you could do for crazy high volumes. You can't prisoner style this. When you do this exercise, make sure to warm up very thoroughly. I would actually warm up your biceps as well, since there might be a little bit more pressure in that area when your arms are locked out. And get used to holding yourself in that low position. Keep this in mind. The more you lean forward, the greater the difficulty. And there's 2 ways to do this depending on your experience level. Either you lean forward and then push back like in a regular push-up, or you stay in that position all the way through. But you might have to be pretty strong to pull that off. Like for me, when I attempt that, it feels like I'm doing 275 for rep work on the bench. And that's real talk. It's not an over-exaggeration. This is really a difficult thing to do. So start doing this variation, and I promise you that you'll be very happy with the difficulty. And the second thing to complement all push-up variations, doesn't matter what you're doing, is scapular protraction. Guys, this will increase the range of motion in a unique way while actually assisting in shoulder health. You've been taught that you need to maintain scapular retraction at all times. That's great advice. You're going to do that on the bench. But on a push-up, if you look at many calisthenics experts, what they're recommending is you retract to the bottom, protract at the absolute top, the complete end of the range of motion. And what this will do is place a little bit more pressure in the upper back while allowing you to lean forward a little bit more. And if you do this on the planche style as well, now we're getting very specific to skill work, because if you look at a lot of the high intensity variations in calisthenics, scapular protraction with straight arms, almost resembling a cat, in addition to the posterior pelvic tilt. So this will transfer over. And if you're someone who's really into bodyweight training, now you're starting to realize what the benefits actually are, you might as well start doing it in this way. And like I said, you try doing this on variations that are already hard, it feels that much more intense. And you're increasing the duration at which you're doing the exercise. You're not just bouncing up and down. The form is very strict, and you have to maintain that pretty much. So this is not only for shoulder health, it's also for your form, in addition to intensity. It's a slight alteration, but I'm telling you, it's worth it. So retract the bottom, protract the top. Now the next thing is adding a plyometric element. Guys, a simple clap, just like this, changes everything. I'm not even joking. You take the deficit push-up, for example. You start clapping on those, your reps might go from 40 to 20. 50% loss, easily. You start doing that on a handstand push-up, oh my goodness. You might lose 75% of your strength just off that alone. But be careful with that. I don't want you getting injured. So you want to clap on variations that make the most amount of sense. And for this, your standard push-up definitely works. And there's different ways to clap. Imagine if you could do pseudo planche push-ups with scapular protraction and you're clapping at the same time. Bro, your physique would look absolutely insane. So just start adding that in. You have guys saying, okay, slow and controlled, man, right? With a pause, really squeezing the muscles. That's great, right? But then add in that explosive element as well. And emerging research is showing that it's beneficial. So it's not a huge game changer, but it's something worth trying out on different styles. So yeah, the next thing I'm gonna recommend is the usage of rings. Guys, rings are crazy. They will humble anyone who is a serious lifter. I'm telling you right now. Start doing push-ups on the rings, either by just having your feet flat, which is not even the same range of motion as a regular version off the floor, and you'll see how much more difficult they are. Do it with your feet elevated a little bit, and whoa, we're talking gains galore. There is a tremendous stabilization element, more than pretty much anything I could think of in regards to calisthenics. You can't mimic that with a bench press. I mean, you could say the bamboo bar with kettlebell suspended is similar, and I would agree to that, but there's a unique feeling of moving your body through space with something that's extremely unstable. And rings will do that exactly. Like, ring push-ups are tough for me. And what's cool about it too is that you can rotate your hands very freely, and there's no real pressure on the wrist in the sense that your hand is not completely flat, right? So you can do neutral style, you can do the regular version, and you can even move while you're doing the exercise. So RTO, for example, you supinate your hands completely at the lockout, which again forces you to be in that more forward position, but it's also a lot more stressful on the triceps, you could say, in addition to the upper back. Like, you'll know what I'm talking about. When you use rings, it's not just the pushing muscles that are going to get sore. Your upper back, everything, dude, it's all synergistic, and there's a reason why many gymnasts are jacked. And you don't have to be on the level to get some of the benefits. So rings are very simple. You can even do fly motions with it as well. Really squeeze those pecs. It's a great strength curve. And the performance element is something that is difficult to match. So in terms of pure intensity, this is something that is very difficult to beat. I would say it's definitely better than doing regular deficit push-ups. So then the final thing that I recommend you guys do is the decline push-up. I always get confused with decline and incline with this exercise, but we're talking about the same musculature as an incline bench, okay? If you don't want to do deficit push-ups, maybe you don't like the way it feels on your shoulders, or you don't want to do rings, or you just want something very minimalist that works, it's effective, right? Just elevate your feet up, man. Anything that's, say, above 12 to 15 inches in height will do you well. And the higher up you go, the more it's going to resemble a handstand push-up. And we already know how challenging those are. So we don't want to get to that point, but we can hit the level where we're pretty much like this. So close to a handstand, but the repetitions are cut that much more. So we're really getting intense variation. And this one's very simple. You guys can all do it. And I like doing these at the end of my workout when I'm already exhausted from everything else, or at the start if I want something a little bit more challenging. But in that case, I probably lean more towards a handstand push-up. So if you got a program that, say, incorporates everything that I'm talking about, say the first exercise is the pseudo planche push-up, then you do some ring push-ups, then some clap, then some inclines to finish it off, I think you can get some pretty good gains with that. So it all depends how creative you are, what you're willing to do in terms of the variations themselves, which are absolutely key in calisthenics. And not only for the progressions when we're trying to build up the skills, but also for just challenging ourselves in addition to preventing overuse. Because don't think for a second that injuries don't apply to bodyweight athletes. It's the same deal. We got to apply programming elements from the lifting world as well. And in this case, I showed you some things that you can do to enhance the push-up. Little hacks that are efficient and actually work. So try out the things I'm telling you today. Let me know how it goes for you in the comment section, and I will see you in the next video.